What is going on, YouTube? This is The Last Musketeer, and welcome to part 4 of the Blue Archive free-to-play Is It Worth It series. So it's been a little bit since I uploaded the last video in the series, and really I just kind of lost track of time. With all the event going on, I was just doing a lot of farming of that, and I felt like, well, it just wasn't enough content for what I wanted to show. So we've been doing plenty of the event farming and getting a lot of the rewards out of it. So I'll be able to show you just what I was able to do in the last week and a couple days here. So going into the first main clip of the fighting, we're doing the scrimmage mode, and this one is one that I just recently logged at the first of the week, and I decided to try it out. I didn't exactly know what I was getting myself into, but I am not quite prepared for it. As you can see, the boss has nearly 300k health, which is insane at this point. I do a decent amount of damage, but not near enough to actually burst someone down like that, so maybe I got in a little over my head at the start of the week. I haven't went back and seen what I can do on my own after that, but we will get to that in the next week, hopefully. Maybe I can get some decent clears there, but we got a free 10-pull ticket from one of the events, and this one actually was excited because when I went for it, I got a 3-star. The only unfortunate part about getting this 3-star is that it was a dupe. Now, I don't necessarily mind getting dupes because you get a lot of Enigma out of it, and you also get 30 of the character shards, so that's pretty good. I mean, I like Swimsuit Hifumi. She does a pretty decent job. She's very costly, but the upside of that is that she does a ton of damage. It's a little bit far in between the shots, but basically anything she's going to hit other than a boss is going to go down pretty instantly for me right now. But you're going to see a bunch of bounty runs throughout this video because I do try to make quite a few clears just so I can get a little bit further when it comes to farming the materials that I need for the skill level ups, because those are going to be super crucial going forward. I need to get as many as I can and get all of my core units to as strong as they possibly can be, because, well, I'm noticing that mainly my main problem right now is just that I don't have enough damage to complete some of the stages in time for the challenge to get the 3-star. So that's the main thing I gotta work on. I just have to be able to clear things as fast as possible. Obviously, survivability is a main factor as well, but I really don't have that hard of a time surviving these stages. I have a decent setup for healing. Tsubaki's fairly tanky for me right now, so I really don't have problems when it comes to survivability. It's just not clearing the stage quite in time. So we're going to work on that, especially in this next week, to see just what improvements I can end up making. But with the new event being here, it's time to farm for as many of the items as I can get out of the store, especially when it comes to the Enigma, because that's going to be the hardest to get. But after completing the first part of the event, the very first story, you get your free unit in Hibiki, the cheer squad version of her, and I do really actually like this unit a lot. I love the art style of it. I've already got her recollection. I did that pretty quickly because I do like the way she's set up. Unfortunately, her EX skill is a little costly. It is nice in my second unit though, the one that I need for running some of the higher campaign stages now, just to get it in time, because she does a pretty good job of wave clear. It's got some decent damage, and it's got some damage over time. Just have to be wary of how much it costs. But we do the entire first part of the story, get a lot of nice rewards out of it, and head on to the quest zone part of it. So this is going to be the main part where I'm going to be farming. Now, the stadium is a nice little addition to this because every time you do a lesson, you generally get one of the Hibiki cheer squad of Ligmas, and then also you're going to get some relationship levels for characters that you own. So it's going to be a very nice addition and a very nice help, because I am a demon when it comes to getting these recollections. I already have quite a few, so you will catch me out here on the grind for those as much as possible. But it's not just about the animated background, it's also about the stats that it gives the students. So it's always a nice boost, always important to do for your main core, getting them, even after you got your recollection, getting them to a good relationship level. Like level 10 is probably a good stopping point early on before you swap to something else, dependent on whether or not you have the materials to do that, and crafting is a great option for getting some of the gifting gear that you need. But with the completion of that, that is stage 1 done of the quest. I'm going to skip a little bit forward to 8 because this is where I actually got to. This is as high as I could possibly do. And I think it's a bit strange with how they did the jump, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what 8 looked like for me. This one was level 45, and I think at the time of doing this, I was around 37 potentially, so I was a little bit under-leveled compared to what it recommends, but that's not a problem. I think this game does a good job of allowing you, with the right setups and with the right skill usages, to be able to complete these pretty easily. So even if there is a bit of a level gap, you have ways around that. And I do want to say that Momoi has been a great addition to my lineup. I know I was using her in the last week, but she is really nice for a lot of these clears because she is very cheap to use and does some really good wave clear if you've got them stacked up especially. But with this one done, we are done with all the stages that I can currently do in the event. Kind of sad to see. I would love to be able to complete one, but it may be quite a while before then because I'll show you the actual level jump for those who haven't seen it, between 8 and 9. So stage 8 of Quest was actually level requirement or recommended level of 45. This one is level 80. So it goes up 35 sensei levels between those two stages. But as you can see here, the rewards from all the event currency that you've got give you some really nice rewards. Some Eligma for the cheer squad Hibiki, which is always nice. And, you know, I'm happy to see it. Anytime that they're going to give me Eligma for free, I am definitely down. But moving on, we're going into Total Assault because this is actually the new raid one, which is currently over as of yesterday, I believe, maybe the day before. So you're going to see this one from last week, and the one that's coming up next, I hope I have a decent squad prepared, something that I'm going to be able to complete it with, but as you can see here, I'm trying to use my own squad for the most part, and I do complete the first mode because normal is not difficult for me whatsoever at this point. It is a recommended level of 25, so I'm a decent ways ahead of that, so I didn't have to worry about that too much. But moving on to hard mode with my squad was a bit more rough, because, well, I wasn't quite prepared for it. So the guy does have 2 stages, which is not too bad. You know, you fight the Kaidengers first, and then they form into the robot in the second half. So if you have a good option for AoE for the first round, then it's going to be a little bit easier. I end up using mainly Hina for that kind of damage, because you can, with the way they're spread, hit 3 of them with one of her blasts, which is really nice. The main problem is, if I'm doing that and I don't have a good option as far as single target burst damage, well, then we're going to fall a little bit behind. I do have Azusa for that situation, and I do also have Swimsuit Nanami, which would be really good as well. Between Azusa and her, they should nuke pretty decently for my squad right now, but the unfortunate aspect is that because I don't have quite enough damage for this, I didn't full complete it with 1 ticket, so hard had to be done with 2 different squads. I get it very close with my own squad, and I think maybe if I'd managed it better, maybe had some cheaper options, maybe a support option in there that made it a little easier to clear, a little faster, then I might have been fine. But I don't think it's too bad for the first real attempt of this one, and I kind of know what my squad is going through, and like I said before, damage is the main aspect that I'm missing right now, because survivability is not too bad. But I go ahead and send the second squad in, they finish it off, and we're moving on to the next mode. But real quick before we move on to the very hard mode, I want to show you the total points rewards because these are absolutely fantastic. I'm always excited when it comes to Total Assault because the rewards you get from it are just astronomical, especially for a new account. They help tremendously. I've got a decent amount of Eligma as well, enough to get the rest of the points I needed for Hina. So Hina is now 4-star, my very first 4-star. I'm very excited, and of course it had to be Hina, being my favorite. So she's got an additional stat boost and got a nice little growth there. I will say it wasn't too big of a jump when you take her from 3 to 4, but every stat point helps, so it's going to make things a little bit easier on me. Though getting to the next one is going to take quite a bit of time, and not to mention just after getting the 120 to take to 5-star, I'm also going to have to use 120 to unlock her weapon. Bit of a downside, but that's what we farm for. You know, I'm not expecting to get anything maxed out as a free-to-play right away, but on the very hard mode, as you can see here, I did lose a couple of my students, and because of that, I didn't have enough charge left to get my next usage of Azusa. A bit disappointing to say the least, but we got it done. So now that I'm able to actually farm the very hard mode, I can get some decent amount of points out of the next little bit of usages. But I go ahead and sweep the stage with my last 2 tickets, get them out of the way, and then I will show you the rewards that I'm getting from there, because I always love to see all of this pop up. So incredible to see. But I use some of my tokens that I had from the Total Assault to buy some more Maki tokens. The only sad part is that I have to wait about 5 more days from the release of this video to actually get Maki unlocked. I am 20 off and I have enough points, so whenever the next 5 days come around, I'm going to get a really good hero. But also, as you can see here, I'm at the end of this bounty run, doing really well, and unfortunately Tsubaki gets nuked because I didn't have a way of stopping that in time. So rest in peace, my 3-star clear for that one. But I went ahead and ran it again manually just to see if I could actually do it, and this time it went a lot smoother. Tsubaki had a lot more health going into the final part, and we cleared it within time. So 3-star is unlocked for stage 5 of the first one, so that I can actually farm that decently. But I think that's the only one that I've been able to complete at 3 stars on stage 5. This one, I believe this was stage 4. It might have been stage 5 as well, but I didn't quite clear it in time. So that one's one that I'm going to have to wait a little bit and get a few more levels before I can actually do it, or maybe swap around my squad a little bit and find something that works just slightly better. But once again, the beautiful showing of the Total Assault rewards. And we're cruising right along. I don't know what I'm going to place this season. I don't believe I can get in gold unless I get to hardcore, at least. So that's going to be the biggest jump when I can actually do that. Even with this borrowed unit, I just can't quite get to that point because I don't have enough survivability for a hardcore wave. And it would take way too long. Maybe I could get a completion done with multiple squads of the same run, but I don't quite know yet. And I have not yet attempted it because I know with how hard it is for me to do the very hard right now, it's going to be a bit out of reach. But with another tin pull that we get for free, I believe this one was from one of the live streams, I go ahead and pull on the Noah banner just because that was B1 that I would really love if I could manage to get her. And lucky for me, it rolled 3-star. So that's back-to-back 10 pulls that I've had a 3-star on, and I've only used the tickets recently because I've been saving up. I go ahead and sign that one with a obviously beautiful signature, and maybe it was good luck that I did that because I get a triple 3-star pull. So I don't know how often that's going to happen. Probably not going to happen for me quite some time from now, but you know, the luck has been a little bit insane in the last little bit. So who else but Noah shows up on the very first of the 3 stars, so I can already rest easy knowing I got the champ that I wanted. But I can say that I was excited for the other 2 because both of them were new as well. And also, sorry if I idle for a little bit, I was excited about the poll, so I went ahead and sent it to the people in Discord to show them what I had just got. But on this one, I don't really know about this student yet. Miyako, she seems pretty cool. They all seem pretty decent, to be honest. I just don't know the general uses, and once again, because I can't look up what the ranking or the tier list for units are, I don't exactly know how good they are. But the 2 new additions that I got, other than Noah, are going to probably get some use in the next little bit. And of course, a Tsubaki dupe is always good. Anytime I can get a Ligma on Tsubaki is going to be huge because I need her to be as strong as she possibly can be because she's helping me a ton going through a lot of these missions right now. Now we are actually moving into the final stage of Chapter 5, so we're going into the campaign missions. And realistically, I'm not having a hard time with these. I think these are pretty easily completed currently. Even some of the Chapter 8 missions really weren't that hard, though that is currently where I am at. I know it wasn't a whole lot of progress of the campaign, but the problem is the event is just so good for rewards that I've just been farming basically all of my energy for the last week and a half, however long it's been, into the event to just get as many of the items out of the shop as I possibly can and try to guarantee all of the Enigma for each of the students that is offered in the shop. Not to mention the fact that when it comes to the stadium part, getting those relationship levels and also those pieces, the Ligma for Cheer Squad Hibiki is going to be very important, because I do like that option of having that hero as high as I possibly can get her, or at least get as much of the Ligma currently as I can. But with some of the points that I use from buying some of the Momoi tokens in Total Assault, I was able to unlock her to 3 stars, so that's going to add a bit of damage to her, going to make her a little bit better, and any bit helps. So it's going to be a while before I get her to 4. Obviously, I'm not too worried about that right now. I can just use her at 3 and focus on other things, but we hit a big milestone in level 40. I'm excited to get to that point, and also with the ending of the current raid, the Total Assault raid, I placed silver, so 800 pyroxenes is huge, and with all the tokens that I got from the Total Assault, as I've said before, I'm just waiting for Maki, but also getting Hina to relationship level 12. Fantastic. Her damage is nice now. She's also getting a decent amount of HP from that. But at the end of the week, I have already gotten Kotori's all the way maxed out, Chihiro's all the way maxed out from the store, and Udahals is almost. I'm missing a couple or 3 from there. So I'm going to have to decide what I want to spend the rest of these on. And I believe these ones in specific, these training Blu-rays are the ones that Hina uses. So if I want to try to get her as high as I possibly can right now with her skill level, this is a great option for me. They're going to be a bit more expensive. Obviously the gold ones are 200 each, which is a lot of farming, and if I'm not buying extra energy each day, it's going to take a little bit. But I do take Hina to the first tier 3 of the equipment, so it gives her 18% attack, which is huge. And once again, back to a bounty run where I get it nearly completed, and Tsubaki goes down, because right as I was about to use the taunt, it didn't come up just in time to stop him. It came up about a second after it gets its ability off, which is enough to take her out at the very last second. So it was horrible to watch, but I do run it a couple more times with my extra ticket and actually get it to 3 stars. So revenge is sweet, and we finally get another one to 3. Now, this one is actually the one I'm having the hardest time with, and I think it's mainly because my squad is very bad in this environment in particular. So yeah, I'm having a bit of a hard time actually 3-starring these. I even went back and did 4 to try to 3-star it, and did not get it once again because I wasn't doing it fast enough. So I'm going to have to work out what I need to change. This one is part of the Chapter 2 story, and I haven't actually shown you most of the stuff right now because I will talk about it a lot more later, go in more detail. But the only reason I'm showing this actual combat scene is because of how nice the stage flows. For some reason, compared to the regular stages, this one flows so beautifully. Like, my frames always seem to stay high. The server has no problem carrying these, and it only seems to be a problem with BlueStacks, so I guess in some of the stages it kind of overloads how much it can possibly do. It's a bit strange. You know, I don't have frame drop problems in any normal, like, high quality game. It's just BlueStacks just really struggles at times. But this is showing you the completion of the last stage I've actually been able to do in the regular campaign. So this was 8-3, and really not too hard. As you can see here, I do 3-star it, and it was fairly easy in that regard. But the next one I end up losing to the boss with my strongest squad, Tsubaki and them. So a bit of a downside there. I'm going to have to get a little bit stronger. But one thing I did want to show off is this is part of the event currently, and I did not realize, I'm not even going to lie, I missed a few days of that because I didn't realize that was actually happening. The saddest thing to see, because it gives me 200 energy and it gives me 35 of the Blu-ray selection tickets. That's insane. I don't know if the rewards are the same every day. I've only done it a couple times now, but just getting that much energy for the extra bit of farming is so nice. But this is a look at my current roster going into this video. So, you know, we're getting decently far into it. I've got a lot of options that I still want to get. Maki being 20 away is going to be a huge upgrade because I've heard just how good Maki can be. And Serika is almost there. I am 2 off. I did the hard farming today and got 1 of them. If I had got the last 2 in the last pulls, then I would have had her for the video, which would have been nice to show off, but we'll get there. And honestly, when it comes to what she's going to be able to accomplish without being 3-star, it's going to be a little more difficult because I do need to unlock that for the extra attack speed during the EX skill. That's going to make her insane. But that's going to be a lot of farming time because obviously I don't want to necessarily use my Eligma to unlock anymore since I can farm her in a stage. And I think there's another hard stage that does have her later on that I haven't completed that I can actually go back and do later on to see. But just showing you, I'm also buying from the Tactical Challenge, the Arena Shop, the Mashiro tokens. You can also buy some of the energy if you wanted to, but that's really not that much for the amount of coins you have to use, so I'm holding off on that and just trying to get Mashiro to a point where I can actually unlock her, though I don't know exactly what she does. I'm just kind of unlocking her because that's the one I chose. The expert tickets, I'm at 7,000 currently. Obviously a long way to go before I can actually purchase one of these units, but it's good to have it in the back of my mind to save them up and do what I can. But just to show you what my recollections look like right now, I should have checked the box to show just the recollection lobby students, but I do have 15 currently. I rank them as my favorite, being Hina first, Noah and Chisei tied for second. I do love both of those. Let me know in the comments what your favorite one is, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.